Hello world, Kian here. This tutorial is meant to show you how I solo a house on amateur difficulty. It's not recommended to solo a larger location like the high school or the asylum because it could take a while to pinpoint the ghost room. When you start out, you're going to be broke as all hell. This tutorial assumes you have $30 to buy a thermometer since it makes finding the ghost a bit easier regardless if they're a shy introvert or an aggressive extrovert. Once you've made sure to add it to your list, find a smallish house to hunt and get started. After your computer has finished its smoke break and loaded the other 10% of the level, you'll be in the van. Since you're solo, you can get started right away. Take a look at the blueprints of the house and use the white button to the left of the map to view different levels of the house. Green lines are doorways into and out of the house. Aside from being the initial entrance, doorways also lock during the hunt, resulting in the place where most human feces can be found. Windows are the red lines. They're usually just a potential area where the ghost can leave their fingerprints when it's feeling dramatic. Stairs on the map look like stairs on a map. Not really sure how else to explain that. The circuit breaker is a little rounded square with a lightning bolt on it. Remember its location because the ghost will trip this occasionally. When it's green, it's on, and when it's red, it's off. I'll show you how to flip this later in the video. To the left of the map, you'll see the optional objectives. Because you're poor, don't worry too much about most of them. The only optional objective we'll focus on is identifying the ghost in the journal. Take note of the ghost's name, but avoid saying it out loud. The ghost is always listening and you may not want to piss it off too early. Opposite of the board is the computer and the timer. The timer counts down once you open the front door of the house. While it's going down, the ghost won't hunt that ass and murder you, but it can still do spooky stuff like whisper sweet nothings in your ear. On amateur, you get 5 minutes, 2 minutes on intermediate, and on professional, you're screwed from the jump. The computers show your video cameras. The houses currently only have one on the front porch. Once you activate another camera, you can switch to it from here by left clicking on the mouse. No, not your actual mouse, the one in the game. Clicking on the keyboard sets the video cams to night vision mode. You might as well keep it in this mode since it's the only way to see ghost orbs. Now that you understand how that works, walk over to your tools. You'll see 2 flashlights next to each other. Choose the longer one on the left. This is a normal flashlight. It's not that great, but it's doing its best, okay? Next, you're going to want to pick up an EMF from the second row on the left rack, and a thermometer from the top rack. To turn an object on, use the right click while it's in your hand. Be careful not to do this with a photo camera as you'll just end up wasting film. Take note of your keyboard shortcut for your flashlight in order to light things up while you have other things equipped. You're going to want to change this to something comfortable since the game currently likes to turn off your flashlight while you're switching equipment. Dick move, game. Dick move. Now while holding the shift key to get a little boost, get through the house as quickly as possible. When it comes to switching on lights in the house, I'm all for it. It keeps your sanity stable and it makes finding items like bones and voodoo dolls much easier. But keep it moving, don't linger. Some ghosts like it when you linger in the light. Now there is a concern that flipping on the lights will cause the ghost to flip the breaker. Even if this is true, the ghosts tend to flip the breaker regardless, and I don't think the loss of sanity outweighs the loss of time it takes to flip the breaker back on. If you're that concerned, just flip lights off when you leave a room. One thing to keep in mind when we're trying to find a ghost room is to not get caught on semantics. The ghost doesn't necessarily have to be haunting a bedroom or a bathroom. They've been known to haunt hallways and foyers as well. With the thermometer out, keep an eye on the temps. Anything below 10 degrees Celsius means that a ghost is near, and the lower it gets, the closer it is. If you need that in Fahrenheit, do the math yourself, you filthy American. Now, I noticed the temperature dropping in the hallway, but I wanted to be certain, so I checked the rooms nearby to see if it was the rooms or the hallways. When I noticed that I wasn't getting a freezing temp of below 0 degrees Celsius, I abandoned the thermometer. This is fine because if freezing temps do happen, you'll be able to see your breath in the air. Once I narrowed down the area where the ghost would be, I switched to the EMF to see if something was close. Sometimes it's a ghost, sometimes it's ghost activity, but the EMF lets you know something's going on. Once you see it consistently going off in an area, you can leave it on the floor as a hands-free indicator. If the EMF ever hits level 5, make sure to take a direct photo of it for some cash and experience. Once I've confirmed some low temps and EMF readings, I'm pretty sure the ghost is in the hallway. So I speed walk to the van and grab a video camera and a ghost journal. With the camera equipped, left click to make sure the light is green before placing it down. To place the camera down, look around for a location where the camera pops up while it's in your hand. Hold the left mouse button to let it rotate, then release it when it's at an angle that you want. Press your use key, which is E for me, to let the camera go. You may have to pop a squat when placing it on the floor. With the ghost journal, just throw that bitch on the ground. It may lay face down, so adjust your angle and crouch to make sure it lands pages up. You'll want to do this so that it'll be easy to see if the ghost has written in it at a glance, and you can also take a photo of it for some extra money and XP. Once the lights are off in the area where you place the video cam, go back to the truck and hover the video feed for about 30 seconds or so. Now when I tried this myself, the ghost decided to flip the lights back on, so I cut the power to the house. They didn't like that. Did that motherfucker just throw a ball at me? Keep in mind, not seeing ghost orbs doesn't mean ghost orbs won't show up at all. The absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence. You may actually have the camera at a bad angle, or your initial hypothesis of the ghost location may be off. At this point I was getting pretty miserable and wanted some company, so I started saying the ghost's name and what do you know? Fortunately for me, this wasn't a hunt and I had my camera out, so I took that money shot. Work it, work it. After soiling myself, I headed to the bathroom to clean up and discovered a bone on the ground. Take a photo and pick it up. You get both money and experience for both actions. After clearing the mud, I walked down the hallway with an EMF in hand and got the mythical level 5 warning. Yay! Also noticed that they wrote something sweet for me in the journal. Aw, you're thinking of me. After 2 points of evidence are collected in the journal, I start using the process of elimination. It can be either a revenant, a shade, or an oni. I personally like to get the hell out of the house when thinking about what it can be, so I leave the house, but I'm using my UV light to scrub everywhere I can before I go. If you're not sure what to look for when using a UV light, it's a good idea to turn off the flashlight and any lights in the surrounding area so that the fingerprints can show up easily. Typically, fingerprints are found on light switches, on doors, front or back, or on windows. When I get back to the van, I'll review what evidence is needed for it to be a revenant, a shade, or an oni. I don't believe it's a shade because ghost orbs weren't showing up when the ghost activity was happening in my cam, so I'm just going to double down on the UV light and the spirit box. I try to kill 2 birds with 1 stone by leaving an active spirit box on the floor and asking it the ghost questions. There's quite a few of these, but the 3 I like to rotate through are, where are you, what do you want, and how old are you? Now I don't know the exact range of the spirit box when you're asking it questions, but the rule of thumb I like to use is as long as you can hear it, it should be able to hear you. And to be fair, while recording this, I did not know that the spirit box worked better in the dark, so keep that in mind for future hunts. While still scrubbing around for fingerprints and asking it questions, I finally get a response on the spirit box. This is my indicator to get the hell out. I return to the van, mark the evidence, and what do you know? I got it right. And that's pretty much it. Obviously I didn't get the other objectives, but the one objective I did want to get, I got. Hope this video has helped you to become a better solo ghost hunter, but keep in mind that the hunt took me around 30 minutes and ghosts are still pretty unpredictable, so mileage with this advice may vary. If you like this video and want to see me do more, please let me know in the comments. See you around, and take care of yourself.